Hello, friends. My name is Alicia Mathlin, and these are the Deeper Wellness Talks. Every Wednesday, we get together and I discuss one topic that relates to keeping your mind, body, and heart in alignment. I am a meditation instructor, a yoga teacher, a conscious living guide, essential oils educator. What that really means is that I take all these sort of ancient modalities and try to distill them into tools and skills you can actually use in your everyday, very modern life. So today we're actually going to talk about health. And we're not going to talk about specifics in the sense of diet and what you should be eating and stuff like that. We're going to do a general overview about how we approach our health, what we could be doing differently, and also where our self-worth aligns with our health and how those two things go together to create our overall wellness. Okay, so first and foremost, I absolutely have to say that any diet that's out there is designed for certain body types. It's designed for certain climates. So this idea that you can hear about a diet and just start using it and it will work for you isn't necessarily the truth. The same things with new exercise programs. Some programs like yoga, Pilates, and that type of body work may work really well for some people, but may not necessarily work well for others. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try yoga or try Pilates, but it does mean that you may have to integrate other things, and you don't necessarily know what those other things are unless you're really trying to become more self-aware when it comes to your health. Okay, so what that means is that knowing your body and understanding what your body needs is the first step to greater and better health. So what does that mean, right? What does that mean? What does my body need? So oftentimes we get clear messages from our body about the types of foods that we need, about the type of movement that we need, and we tend to ignore it, right? We tend to reach for foods that are comfort foods, that are convenience foods, that are socially what everyone else is eating. We don't really think about what our body actually needs in the moment. And the same is also true for movement. Like some days you do need to run. Some days you do need a quiet yoga class. Some days you do need some strength training. But you don't really know unless you're trying. You don't really know unless you're trying to become more conscious about your health, right? So for me, for example, for a very long time, I was living in a way that didn't support my health. I wasn't eating foods that were good for me. I wasn't drinking things that were good for me. I was doing high intensity exercise very, very early in the morning, but I also had like a really stressful job, and I wasn't doing any lower intensity stretching or working out. So what ended up happening was all those things did not go together to support my health. I ended up very sick and in the hospital. And I'm not saying it was because I was exercising or eating the wrong things. I'm saying those two things, the type of exercise I was doing was creating more stress on my body because it didn't support my body's natural way of movement. Okay? So what does that mean to you? A lot of people say they don't like exercising. I would argue that you haven't found an exercise that you enjoy. I don't like going to the gym. I don't like that whole scene at all. I do love going to the yoga studio. I do love running in the woods. I do love doing strength training in the privacy of my own home. I know some people, they love the gym. They can be at the gym for 2 hours all day, right? Some people don't do that type of more traditional exercise, and they actually do dance interventions. So they'll just blast their favorite playlist at home and dance for a few hours. What I'm inviting you to do here today is to start to think about the kinds of movement, the kinds of foods, the kinds of self-care practices that work for you specifically to support your health, okay? Certain foods agree with your system. Certain foods don't. Typically, we tend to ignore that messaging. But if you're eating something and you feel sleepy and lethargic afterwards, or you have a headache, or you have stomach distress, or you're irritable, that's a pretty good indicator that what you've just had doesn't agree with your system, right? The same with exercise. If you go to hot yoga, for example, and you come back and you're exhausted and you feel overwhelmingly dehydrated and you just need to sleep, then maybe producing that level of heat in your body is not what's best for you. Do you follow me a little bit here? What I'm saying is that to arrive at a place of health and wellness, we have to start to look at what really works for us and listen to the signs that our body gives us, our mind gives us, our heart gives us about what's not working for us. Okay? So often we're bombarded with all this messaging that, you know, this celebrity with a look that I admire is doing this diet, or this athlete is following this exercise protocol, and all this kind of stuff. And that's great information, but you still have to customize it for your own needs. And here's why this is important. Your health informs how you think, how you interact with the people you love, how you achieve your goals, how you even feel about yourself. Like your self-worth is one with that as well. And so often we don't think about our health's role in the quality of our overall life. I remember when I was younger, Oprah had this quote that said, "You cannot pretend that what you put in your body doesn't matter." And I've never heard truer words, because it's true. When we don't think about what we're eating or what we're drinking, or even how we're eating and how we're drinking, when we don't think about how much we're sitting and not moving around, or holding our bodies like in the same position for long periods of time, we're missing out on the opportunity to truly feel our best, to truly think our best, right? And this is so important. This is so important. If you're dealing with a lot of anxiety or depression or anger or irritability or reactiveness, right? You are invited to look at your health. What are you doing that you could be doing differently? Are you not moving enough? Are you not eating the right foods often enough? Are you not resting enough? Like really getting deep sleep. All of these things are so important, because without these things, without this awareness, this consciousness about our health, we're only living a half life. We're nowhere near reaching our potential to feel great, to think better, to love bigger. We're only scratching the surface of everything that is possible for our lives. You know, so often as women, we spend a lot of time caring about the health of others, maintaining the health of others, supporting the health of others. And somehow we put ourselves in last place. We don't prioritize our own wellness. And I have to tell you, it's got to start to be the other way around. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not meeting your own needs, there's just no way you can meet the demands of your life. There's no way you can truly be who you want to be. There's no way you can reach your goals in a sustainable way, right? And that's why prioritizing your wellness, your health, is so, so important, especially as we move into the colder months. I know it doesn't feel like that today here in Toronto, but as we move into the colder months, we have to start to think about how do I support my needs? How do I support the shifts and the changes that are going to be occurring in my body and my mind because it's getting colder, because the days are getting darker, a shorter part of me, right? And we're experiencing more darkness, not as much sunlight. All of these things require our attention and our awareness. And I know you might be thinking, well, how do I do all of that on top of everything else I have to do? And I would offer that if you don't do all of that, it'll be very hard to do everything else you have to do. The most important thing you can do for yourself every day is decide that your wellness is important. Is to decide that everything you put in your body matters. And not in like a weird, neurotic way, but just in a sense of, I need to nourish my body, right? I need to eat foods that support my mental space. I need to eat foods that help heal my heart. And you're not doing that if you're reacting to hunger or dehydration, right? You know, you're missing meals, you're waiting all day, and then you're finally eating and you're just grabbing whatever's there because you're so hungry. Or the other thing that's very, very common, you're so dehydrated that you actually think you're hungry when in fact you need to have some water. Or the other side of it, we're sitting 6, 5, 7 hours a day, oftentimes in the same position. No wonder why we're getting headaches. No wonder why we have neck issues, lower back issues, shoulder issues, wrist issues, right? We're not doing what our body needs to do. We need movement every day. Like, we absolutely need to move every day. And if your job requires you to sit most of the day, I encourage you to schedule movement for after work or before work. And if the word movement is even triggering for you, start walking. Just go for a walk and decompress. And walk in a way that really makes your heart come alive. That really makes your heart open up. All of this is so important. If you're not sleeping well every night, right? Like, you're getting only a few hours and it's not deep, restful sleep, and you're waking up feeling like you need more time to rest, or you can't even do your day, then you're not sleeping well enough. And if you're not sleeping well enough, it's hard to make decisions around food. It's hard to make decisions around what you should be drinking, right? You're going to reach for cheap and fast energy like coffee or sugar, right? You're not going to think about, oh, my body needs healthy fats right now, or my body needs protein. You're going to skip all that and look for sugar and refined carbohydrates and caffeine. And this isn't your fault. This is normal. This is how the body works, right? It works to bring us back into balance. So if I wake up and I'm exhausted because I haven't rested, I'm going to reach for things that will make me feel energized and awake. That's completely normal, right? If I wake up and I feel stiff and achy, I am not going to go and move and run and try and exercise. I'm not even going to think about stretching. That's normal. It is normal, but it's not right. It's not the right thing for you. Your health is a key component to the quality of your life, the way you will age, and certainly the way you love and let go and achieve and be present. I want you to start to think about your health as something that is so vital and so important and so crucial to your self-worth, to your sense of self. Yeah, it's easy to reach for the foods that don't support our bodies. It's easy to lie around all day if you can. But is it good for you? No, you deserve more. You deserve better. And you have to start to think about your future self. How do you want to move when you're older? How do you want to think when you're older? Do you want your memory to be available to you? Right? Do you want your body to be vital and energized and fully available for everything that you want to do? Or do you want to be assigned to a wheelchair? Do you want to have assistance when you use the washroom or bathe? Because you're making those decisions right now with your health, whether you think about it or not. What you're doing with your body today informs what you will be able to do with your body in the future. So for example, if you have trouble going for long walks or running or exercising, you definitely will not be able to do those things when you're older. And you're going to want to. Mobility is the currency of aging. You're going to want to be able to go places and see things and do things and be mentally aware and present for your life. You have the opportunity right now, today even, to make decisions about how you're going to age. We spend so much time thinking about how we're going to look as we age. And I'm not saying that that's not important and it's not a consideration. I hate people that say it doesn't matter. If it matters to you, it matters. But how you look is ultimately informed by how you're treating yourself, how you're practicing self-care, what you're putting into your body, how you're moving in the world. Are you getting the circulation going in your body every day? Your wellness is important. It's a necessary consideration and priority for you to make every day. You can't skip past it. You can't say later. You can't say another time. Now is the time to build your health. Now is the time to cultivate your inner resources. You matter. No one's going to come along and say, here's everything you need to fix your health. Just take this magic pill or go away to this destination and you'll come back transformed. No, it doesn't work that way. Your health is happening with every choice you make every day. And I'm not saying don't have fun, and I'm not saying don't have pleasure around your wellness, because I do believe that pleasure is important. But pleasure and comfort are two different things. If you're using food for comfort, if you're using inertia and lethargy for comfort, right? Therefore, meaning that you're lying down a lot, you're watching TV a lot, then that's not pleasure. It's not real pleasure. Pleasure wakes up your heart. It touches all your senses. And I want you to have that in your life. I want you to have pleasure in your life. But make it beautiful. Make it important. make it matter for you. So here's a few things to think about for your wellness. The first and most important thing is to decide, just make the decision that your wellness matters and that you're going to be more aware of it every day, okay? That can mean paying attention to what you eat, not for weight loss, but for when I eat this, how does this make me feel? Do I feel better? Do I feel happy? Right? You're not looking for food that necessarily soothes. You're looking for food that nourishes. Right? Same with movement. You're not looking for movement for weight loss, per se. Right? You're looking for movement that encourages you to keep moving, that tickles your heart, right? So the first thing is to decide to consider your wellness and to make it a priority. The second thing is to start to add in healthier foods. So pay really close attention to what I just said. I did not say take out anything. I said add in healthier foods. So what does that mean? That can mean more water. That can mean more naturally green foods or naturally rich in color foods. That's an easy way to start to introduce more wellness into your life, is to eat foods that are naturally high in color, right? The reds, the oranges, the greens, the yellows. The colors that are available to you through nature are always a good starting point for your wellness, right? And what that can mean is like maybe adding another vegetable side, maybe adding salad greens, but really staying away from foods that just aren't found in nature, right? Like you're focusing on whole foods, right? You're adding more whole foods. And please remember, food does not have ingredients. Food is ingredients. So if you're looking at something and the ingredients is a list of things that you can't pronounce and you cannot recognize, believe me, your body cannot recognize it either. Don't put it in your body. What you put in your mouth matters. Your body matters. The third thing I would say is please try not to eat when you're stressed. I know that's probably the only time you really reach for food, right? Like you're stressed out and you want to grab your favorite thing, and I get that. I've been there. The problem is if you're not relaxed while you're eating, your body thinks you're in danger. So the last thing it's going to do is digest. It's going to store all that food, it's going to put it aside, and it's going to try to offset the chemical reactions of stress in your body. And if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, food is typically, like food and digestion, is typically a low priority for your body, right? Your central nervous system is trying to come back into balance. You're trying to reset your breathing. You're trying to regulate your heartbeat. The last thing you're doing is digesting. So number one, again, make sure you decide that your health and wellness are extremely important. Understand that they are connected to who you are in the world. They are connected to how you love, how you think, and how you feel. Okay? Number two, add more healthy foods to your diet. And I hate the word diet, to your nutrition profile. Just add more healthy things. Don't think about taking things out. Forget about that, right? That's a bad recipe. You're going to do the opposite. So just think about adding healthier, more natural, more whole foods to your nutrition profile. The last thing is to try not to eat when you're stressed. So even if you are stressed, maybe take 3 or 4 or 5 deep breaths before you start to eat. Okay? And I lied, that wasn't the last thing. The very last thing is start to move more. Please. If you are sitting down most of the day, you are on a fast track to hip pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain. 100% guaranteed. If you're not experiencing it now, you will very soon. So if movement looks like a long walk for you, if it looks like a dance intervention, if it looks like going to classes, and if you like gyms, going to the gym, whatever it means for you, I beg of you, please find a form of movement that supports your joy every day. For me, that's yoga. I love yoga, but yoga calms you so much that it actually slows your metabolism. So I also like running and I like strength training. And I haven't done either in a while because I've been maybe a little too busy and I haven't been prioritizing it. But because we're in the fall, I'm starting all that stuff back up again, right? So number 1, decide your health is important. Effectively deciding that you are important. Number 2, add more whole foods, natural foods, real foods to your diet, nutrition profile, right? Number 3, what was number 3? Oh, yes. Number 3, try not to eat when you're stressed. Try not to eat when you're stressed. Try to eat in a way that supports you not feeling overwhelmed and stressed, right? So breakfast is important. Lunch is important. Dinner is important. And I would even offer that a mid-morning snack and a mid-afternoon snack is great, so that by the time you get to dinner, it's definitely your last meal of the day. That's ultimately what you want. Okay? And the final thing, I can't believe I almost forgot it, but it really is find a movement that you love. There's so many different things out there that you can try. There's tennis, there's group runs, there's Zumba, there's dance classes. There's so much out there. But really try to find something that you love and that wakes up your heart and that really gets you going, that really excites you to go and do. Okay. I really, really want you, especially as we move into fall and winter, to think about your health in not a sticky way, but in a joyful, meaningful, and purposeful way. Okay? Your health matters because you matter. Your health matters because you matter. This has been the Deeper Wellness Talks. My name is Alicia Mathlin. I'm going to stay online, unrecorded, for any questions you may have. I'll try to answer them. But thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week at 12 p.m. Eastern. Bye now.